Hello, and welcome everyone. My name is Samuel. Great to have you guys here. Welcome to our first of a kind live Q&A trading webinar. My name is Samuel Plesnik. I'm originally from Central Europe, from Slovakia, but I live in Bali a couple of years. To give you a little bit of my background, who I am. I'm basically a high school dropout. So now you're probably thinking like, oh, well, this is starting great. Like, what is this guy going to tell us? But yeah, that's my story. I'm actually a high school dropout. I didn't get much anywhere in my life until I was like 29. Then I kind of got like some sense of like, oh, let's figure something out because this is like not going anywhere. So I want to start with this, because I want to point out that if you feel like trading is like something that can be like difficult or it's not for everybody, well, that's bullshit. Because like, I was 29 years old and I was like a complete mess. And so that's where I actually started as a complete mess. And then I started to slowly, as I got myself together, like I slowly started to like get interested in trading. Literally, I was just like, it was New Year's, I was doing my meditation. And, in the meditation, it kind of like came to me like, okay, what if you don't have any sort of like limiting beliefs, like what would you do? And I was just like, oh, let me just become a trader. And at that point, I had like a little bit of experience with like how to make things happen in life. So I was just like, okay, let me just read like one hour of trading books per day. So that's what I started to do. I got like the most recommended trading books I could find on Kindle because I didn't know what to do. And I started from there. I started to read the book. I started to make notes. And like a few months later, I figured out like, oh, this is like too complex to do it by myself. So I better get some mentor. So I was doing some online research, find my first mentor, started to like study trading. It was 2017, early 2017. And it was a very slow process. And like, I was not rushing, to be fair. I was not rushing. I was not one of those people who were just like, oh, where's the Lambo? Like, I want Lambo tomorrow. That was just like not my case. That was not my case. I was quite patient. I was exactly following what my mentor was telling me. And I was also like not following the Instagram traders, I and like no disrespect, but I wasn't like following the path of like, oh, this is the next 1000x coin, which is going to get you like, millions of dollars tomorrow. I actually chose like the real path. And to cut it short, it took me 2 years of trading and paying my mentor and paying for trading till I got my first investor. And actually my trading mentor was my first investor. And then in 2020, I got hired into a crypto web fund, crypto hedge fund, Platon Finance. I didn't want to trade crypto, to be fair. I was always like a technical trader, and I was focusing on Forex. I was focusing on commodities. And I was like, yeah, cryptos are for kids. That's like not for real traders. Like we are real traders and we are trading something else. Like we're trading like Forex, and that's the real thing. But like actually the first real offer that I got in life to become a trader was to trade cryptos. So I actually looked at the cryptos. I figured out like, okay, I was just like dumb. I had like some ideas like, oh, this is real trading and this is not real trading. And I started to trade cryptos professionally since 2020. First, I traded for a crypto fund. Then I also traded for a crypto exchange, which was an interesting experience. One of the top 10 crypto exchanges at the time. I was doing like market making at the crypto exchange. And then I just decided like, hey, I don't want to be, trading for another people. So I basically, quote unquote, poached or just like took the people that were my friends. And I was just like, hey, let's start our own trading fund. And we started like EXO Fund, and we are still, we're in the process of getting like legalized to be one of the first regulated crypto hedge funds in the Europe. And I also like decided like, hey, let me share this experience with another people and like explain maybe how I trade and how can you make money, you know, like in all market conditions. This is something that I wanted to highlight, that it was 2021 fall and the market was going like sideways. You know, people were still excited about Luna. I'm not sure if you were part of the crypto markets, but you know, people were excited about Luna. They're just like, oh, Luna is pumping. And at the time we were not making money. Like it was just like going sideways. You know, it was quite tough because I got like my first like friends and family to invest into our fund. And it was exactly like August. And since then, like markets start to go sideways, besides like a couple of coins which were exploding, and we were just like not making money at the time. And then when the markets crashed, actually like March, April, May, we made like 90% in 3 months, which is like, actually it was 2 months, because I think in the market started to crash in like April. So we made a lot of money. And let me show you like actually how I trade. So if you're here because you think I'm going to be showing you the next like 1000x coin, or, you know, just like giving you like great update, like, oh, Elon Musk is talking about like this guy, about this coin, so it's going to be a great coin. No, this is not what we are doing here. We are doing a serious trading where you can be making money basically all the times under all market conditions. And I will actually show you how. Like I'm not sure how much do you understand like technical analysis, but what I want to show you is that you don't have to know the news. Like if you look into the charts, like you can follow what money is doing, because sometimes you get like news like which could be considered good or bad, but like who cares? Because it's the market that actually translates the news and what tells you like what to trade. And based on what I see here on the chart, that's how I take my trades. So for example, where I would be trading, and this is like yeah, so let me be just honest. Like somebody who was like watching the lawsuit, I wasn't. I wasn't, because that's not what I do. Yeah, he would probably made like this nice move. I don't think he would catch it like right away. So the person would like catch this move. He would probably get 20% and then he would exit, because now everybody sees like, oh, it was 100% move, but when it's happening, you don't know. And also that person was waiting for without any profits for quite a long time, I want to say. Like, so if I look into the daily chart, let's give it a second to load. That person was waiting for quite some time before they actually got any profits. And but what I want to show you is like a technique, and now my charts are loading. For some reason they take some time, so please bear with me. But what I want to show you is how you can look on the chart, and instead of trying to predict like, oh, this is what's going to happen, like, why don't you just follow what you see where people are putting money in, and just be making like consistent, like 2%, 3%, just be consistently making money. And how do you know, like, where are people, you know, buying, where are selling, like where you can follow what is highly predictable? Well, I would say, for example, like in here, let me just explain the situation. Like in here, this is XRP Ripple, so I'm just using that as an example. And in here, you see that the price exploded quite a lot. It exploded 100%. And then from here, it fell into this area, like it stopped. So from this top, it fell another 20%. And so what does this tell us? It tells us that after it fell 20%, like the people who missed out on this move, they started to buying again, because it's not like currently, it's not falling anymore. It stopped falling here. And then it went up here. Let me zoom it in a little bit. It fell here, it went up here, it tried to fall again, and it didn't get anywhere. So now you could already know that, hey, the price seemed to be holding, and I made these like red lines, so you don't know exactly where, but it seems to be like somewhere here in this area. like when the price gets into this area, probably people will start buying again because this is where they're buying. Like after this huge sell-off, this is where they're going to buy again. And in here, you could be already entering a trade because you know that it stopped here. And let me just measure it. And from here to here, let me stop drawing in the first place. And from here to here, you could make basically, and it's not infinite, but you could easily make 16%, very predictably. It's like you don't have to watch news or anything. You just look at the charts, you analyze what's going on. And how do you know where to exit? Because you can see in here in the past that when we've been moving up, this huge move, it stopped in here. It got back here. It tried to go back up and people just stop buying because price goes up when people are buying and goes down when people are selling. So based on what we see here is like they stopped buying in here, they tried to buy again, and they dropped in here. And once again, they started to buy here again. So here we know that this is like a good entry. We already know this is a good entry for the trade. And we will exit the trade here because you don't want to be holding it forever. You don't know. Maybe it's going to go down. Like nobody knows. Like this is something that a lot of like trading gurus, they try to tell you like, oh, now this is going to happen. Like, oh, you don't fucking know. Like you have no idea. Just shut up. You know, like, what is this? Like, you don't know. You just can't predict, you know, like it's like, and the thing is, like in trading, you're 50, even if you're like a chicken saying up or down, you're going to be right 50% of the time. So therefore, those people, you know, like they would just say like, yeah, that's what I told you, because if you're going to do like 4 prediction, very likely 2 of them are going to be right. And he's just not going to talk about the 2, which were kind of wrong. So that's why we need to know where do we exit. And it's the area where people started to sell. So that's like really great example of how to make very predictable, like 16 to 18%. And now we can either wait. So there's 2 options. Like I'm not going to predict what's going to happen. But if the price goes here, I already know that people like to be buying at 0.75, this kind of area. It's not line in the sand because you need like millions of people to actually buy something to move the price. So it's not going to stop exactly at like 7.1 or exactly at 7. It's probably going to be somewhere in the area. So as soon as the price touches this area, I would buy and wait for it to go up. So that's scenario number 1. Or scenario number 2, we're going to actually break above this level. Which one is it? The 84, 85. So this is option number 1. If price goes down here, I buy here and I'm going to be waiting for another 16% move. Or from here, we can go somehow, let me just draw it. The price can go mess around this level because people seem to be selling at 85. And once we break 85, usually I would wait for the price to drop again at 85. And then that's like a big point where the price always turns around. So once we break a big point, it's very likely that we would go 2. And once again, I'm not going to hold it forever. I'm just going to hold it till 93. So once we break it, it can be a move which will make you another 10%. And, you know, this is like 26% of very predictable sort of like gain. So this is kind of like how I am trading. What are my techniques? How do I approach the charts? So it's not about predicting or giving you like some secret sauce, but it's just like, hey, if scenario A happens, then I'm going to make 10%. If the scenario B happens, then I'm going to make 16%. And if I'm wrong, I'm going to make sure that I'm not going to lose more than 3 to 5%. And I will even teach you in the future how to actually make it so that you are never risking more than 1% of your capital. If you want to, please go ahead, be my guest. But if you don't, then I will teach you how. It's called position sizing and risk management. And that's like a technique where even when you're wrong, most of the time, you can still make money by capturing bigger trades. So I guess this is like my explanation, like how I trade and how cryptos are super easy to trade because they're not manipulated so much by the institutions like Forex and gold. And that's why I actually sticked with trading crypto. That's why after I got like hired to trade crypto, when I looked at it, I was just like, oh, this is so simple. Because, you know, like gold and Forex, it's controlled by governments, it's controlled by banks. And I'm not saying that the banks are not in the crypto, but it's not as heavy as there. So it's very predictable how the moves are going to actually happen. And if you have like any questions about the trading or your trading advice, like please feel free to post it in the chat. And in the meanwhile, what I can do while I'm waiting for your question, we can do one more. We can try to look at some other instrument, something that looks slightly differently, and I will show you what would I expect in that instrument, for example. Let's look at mana. Not doing pretty well, is it? So but it's still tradable. This is the thing, like and I will teach you how to make money on the moves down as well on the moves up. But mana, basically what I see here is what do you want to be doing? So let me mark the zones. Like once again, we will look like, oh, there's a huge fall of the price, which ends here. And then it tries to go back up and it ends here. So it like, imagine like the logic behind it. You have to understand the people who are actually like buying, who are actually selling. And if the price drops like this huge drop, which is from 37%. So all of the people who like, you know, like Decentraland, you know, like mana token, they would be, oh, the price really dropped. Well, now it's time to go really big and now it's time to buy. So they tried to buy here and they managed to push price up 16% and failed. So I think and then it fell in here and they tried again and didn't get anywhere. So what is like so I would mark this point. I will make 2 lines as like, okay, so this is the point where people are selling. And since the price is dropping, I would much rather, you know, wait for the price to get here again. So once again, we're doing A/B scenario. I'm not trying to be a wizard and predict, but if the price goes to 5.2, 5.3 area into this area, this is where you want to sell, which is like short. You can short cryptos, you can short perpetual contracts, and then once again hold it. But where it's very likely to turn around is like, once again, you're going to think like, okay, what are the masses doing? Well, if there's a huge drop in the price and it stops here, then it means like there are people willing to be buying mana at 4.5. So you make this kind of like, once again, you mark this level. And once the price gets here, you can sell it and you can hold. So you can basically, let me just show you. And you can hold for profits all this drop, because I will teach you how to short as well. Maybe some of you, which is 14%. And once it get here, you can again from here. So you will be making profit on the drop here. You exit the position, you take the 15%. And when it gets here, I think it's a good idea to basically buy and hold it once again till here. And that's another, I think it's the same amount as it was for the drop. And that is like 15, 16%, which you can predictably make without any like huge explosions in the price. You don't have to be reading the, you know, crypto Twitter and following the crypto influencers. This is basically how to make money under any market conditions. And I know that some of you guys might be from USA, where it might be a little bit tricky to be shorting. So that means you just have to be patient and wait for the zones where people are buying more. And now let me check if we have any questions. Well, this is actually a great question. So first name, second name. What is the best strategy to take profit? Well, once again, it's like the best strategy And it can be different for people, but what I'm using is like, where does the price turn around? So if I'm like shorting from here, so let's say the scenario A, like the price gets here and we sell, then I don't want to be holding it below this level, because just like I said, there was a huge sell-off and people started to buy here. So it's very likely that people will start buying here again, or there will be like some other move. And I don't try to be right, but it's very probable that it's going to happen again. And so that's why I will be very okay taking profits in here. And if we get down here and we start to rise, I'm okay to buy again and take profits here. So always look at some levels. So once again, let me just explain it. For example, I want to show you some like good trade. Okay, this would be like a perfect idea for the trade. To explain you. So in here, I will mark the levels again. So I hope you see it. So we are here and we see that the price, each time the price drops to 77, it goes back up. So it drops again, goes back up. So it does it like, if I zoom in, you see it happens like 1, 2, 3 times. And now, like you could probably be already taking this trade. If you're behind the chart, you can already be taking this trade, or you can take this trade, because you know, like, oh, there's a big price drop and the price turns around here. And where do you want to be taking profits? Well, most likely each time you will just follow what happens before. Like, so what happens before is each time the price touches this, it's very likely that it will get at least here, because each time it touched it, it got to this level. Like one time it got here, one time it got even here, but that just happened like once. So when you get to the trade again, so you see the price is here again, so you would be taking profits in here. Because you see, like, this is interesting, like history repeats itself. You see like the price turn around in here, well, it's exactly the same point. And yeah, some people will tell you like, oh, you should be like holding it in here, but you don't know. So you don't know that it's gonna go here. You really don't know. You just follow what is very predictable, and that's how you make predictable profits, because that's what you want to be making. Like literally, and this is what I want to tell you, like there is this myth about trading that, oh, you can make, like, let me show you how to make 50,000 out of $1,000. Like if you hear that, like, please run away. Like that's like the biggest bullshit. You need to become a good trader. And once you're a good trader, like, getting money and investment is like the least of your problems. So don't think about like, how are you going to make 50,000 out of your $1,000? Think about, how do I become a good trader so that people will give me millions to manage? Because it's really easy. There's not so many good traders. You see a lot of like trading posts on the Instagram, but those guys, they're like trading gurus. They're not actually trading. They're selling trading courses. And to answer your question, so from this point, a very predictable area where the price turns around quite often is here. And yes, you could maybe close half of the position, secure the profits. I call it secure the profits. That's very advanced, and I don't want to go into advanced things, but you could close like half of the position, take some profit off the table, make sure that you would like exit if the price goes here again, so you're not risking losing any money, and let the other half run maybe until here, because this would be very risky to assume that the price would break this point. Like when you see like a point of like a big turnaround, it's not going to be broken easily. So you can see like the price was here once, second time, third time, big pullback, third time, and then eventually it broke, but it took a while. So ideally, take profits at the most probable areas where we have like 3-4 turnarounds, and that's here. Does that answer your question? I hope it does. Okay, any more questions? Anyone else would like to ask something, or Okay, let's give it like a couple seconds. I'm very open, like doing, showing you, like you guys can even say like a coin and ask me like, okay, what's like what would be the next steps for the coin? So we can do this kind of like a circus trick where you can just tell me some coin, which is like, not, please don't go with like some small bullshit, like something that has like a history and I can tell you what happens. And if not, then we can just move forward. Okay. Okay, so let's just move forward then in that case. So thank you everybody who attended. I do apologize for being a little bit late. I do have markets quite figured out, but like the mysteries of the Zoom and the live YouTube streaming can be a little bit tricky for me. And what I want to share with all of you guys is like, I'm opening 10 spots for my trading program, where I will teach you how to build a profitable portfolio in 3 months. I took a long time because I'm that kind of person. I'm that kind of crazy person, but I can push you to do it in like 3 months. And it's not like a trading course. I'm not trying to be like another like, hey, get these like 10 lessons and you will figure out trading forever. No, this is not what we're doing. It will be like live meetings with me on the Zoom every week. And I'll be like literally holding your hand, guiding you through the process. So if you're interested, click on the link in the description, join the waitlist. And I'm looking forward to either me talking to you or my assistant is going to be talking to you. We will see if you're a good fit. And if you are, I would love to welcome you to my course. So I think from my side, that's all. It was lovely having you here, guys. And I'm looking forward to talking to you in the future. Bye for now.